Family is very, very important to me, and I think that's one thing. Even though it was tough growing up in Adelaide, and I had to look after Mum and I had to look after my sister Daz, I also looked after my uncles as well, and Grandpa when he would come to town. So I was always looking after people. So that sort of family, that nesting sort of thing where, I like to make the house nice, I like to have lots of food and cook for people, and just growing up, surrounded by family. I think that's sort of the thing that sticks out in my mind, that it's always taught me to, always care for your family no matter what.
I'm Lowanna Grant, and you've just been granted access. This is where I sit down with some of the most influential voices to bring you real, honest yarns about life, ambition, resilience, and everything in between. We go beyond the headlines and into the heart of our stories. The culture, the humour, and the hustle that shape who we are. These are the stories you might not have heard, but definitely need to. I'm Lowanna Grant, and this is Access Granted. My guest today is someone who I'm really excited to have on, my beautiful mum, Karla.
Hello.
Welcome to Access Granted.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
On the way here, you were telling me about last night and the concert that you went to and something that happened. What happened?
I'm still so excited. I'm still on a high from last night. I saw my husband to be, I wish, Lenny Kravitz. But yes, the boys and I, your brothers, John and Dylan, we went to see Lenny last night, and it was fantastic. It was the best concert ever. I really enjoyed it. But the highlight of the night
I was going to say, to the highlight.
Yes, the highlight of the night was he hopped off stage and he walked right around the arena. And I said to the boys, if he comes right next to us, I'm running down there and I'm gonna meet him or do something. I won't say what else I was going to do.
The boys have been so embarrassed.
And no, they weren't. They were excited as well. And he was walking right around. He hopped on another little stage at that end of the arena, hopped off that, and then came walking around. And, I ran straight down and held my hand out and yelled out, "Yeah, Lenny!"
Oh my God.
And he touched my hand.
And you screamed.
He grabbed my
you
hand.
said that you screamed, that scream that you always do, that me and the boys are always like, that's so embarrassing.
I was screaming right throughout the concert.
And then what happened to Dylan?
And Dylan held his arm out as well, and they sort of punched each other. Yeah,
pumped?
Yeah, sorry.
Fist pumped.
They fist pumped each other. Yeah. So Dylan was so excited as well. He's like, no one else was doing that. I was just holding my fist out and he went like that.
No, well, I just thought we could start there because you were really excited this morning when you came and picked me up and you were telling me how Lenny touched your hand.
Yeah. I'm never washing that hand again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you showered this morning.
No, I didn't. No, yes, I did.
So I wanted to have you on my podcast, Access Granted, because we have done a few things together, but nothing where it's been just the two of us talking to each other. We've either done like radio interviews or we've done another podcast that we did, but this is the first time that you're being on my podcast, so I thought it was really special to have you on. And because this podcast is called Access Granted, I wanted to start here. Can you share something about yourself that people don't know, or something that might genuinely surprise them?
Gosh, I think maybe a lot of people might be surprised to know that I play guitar and I also play the flute as well. So I'm very musical, yes.
I played the flute as well, actually.
Yes, you followed in my footsteps.
Anything else?
I run. I think, I don't know if a lot of people know about that.
I don't think that would surprise many people, but probably the flute and the guitar.
I think, the fact that I'm a musician as well.
Also, do you like my cards I made?
I do. I love
did
them.
It myself.
Yeah.
And so you grew up in Adelaide and moved to Canberra pretty young. If you had stayed in Adelaide, do you think that you'd be where you are now? And do you think that you would still have ended up being a journalist?
I think if I stayed in Adelaide, things would have been very, very different. You may not even be sitting here if I didn't move from Adelaide to Canberra, because that's where I met your dad, of course. So in terms of being a journalist, I think, my career path would have been so much different. I would have went on a different path altogether, because I did apply I finished year 12 in Adelaide, applied for a cadetship at a newspaper there, didn't get it. That's another long story, but it was, applied for that. And the person on the panel was like, she's very pretty, but would she be able to communicate? And, being a young 17-year-old at the time, it was I didn't know what to do. I just sat there. And I was very young and naive and shy at the time as well. So I missed out on that opportunity. So I probably wouldn't have gotten into journalism, but I did have other options, and I was thinking of nursing and also becoming a vet. So maybe I might have been a vet. Yeah.
I was going to say that I remember when I was younger, you would always say that you loved animals, and you grew up with a lot of animals as well, like lots of cats, lots of dogs.
Yeah, lots of cats, lots of dogs. Plenty of animals all the time, and horses as well. I learned how to ride horses at a very young age. So I think maybe I may have become a veterinary surgeon. So.
Would there have been anything scary about being a vet that you wouldn't have wanted to do?
Not really.
Because I know there's some weird things that they have to do that would gross me out.
Yeah, they do. Like they have to take their temperature in their behinds and everything. Yes.
I would not do that. I could see you doing it though.
But I was great, a good student at school in terms of like biology. I wasn't that great at chemistry, but I loved biology. So I used to spend a lot of time in the science lab, and I used to cut up, different things like. Like they'd bring in like
they would have
like lungs of different animals, and you'd sort of pump them up. And
I have what's it called? I have a weak stomach when it comes to that.
But I used to love dissecting things, and so I think I would have been a really good vet. And I love animals, all animals, so.
Yeah. And I know your Nana was a really big part of your life growing up. Can you tell us about her and the lessons that she passed on to you?
Yeah, I love my Nana. Oh, she makes me cry now thinking about her, because I only had her for like 4 years of my life. She died very young. She was only 42 when she passed away. But she looked after me for the first 4 years of my life when because my mum and dad split up when I was 3 years old. And so we went to live with Nana, and mum went off to work, so Nana would look after me. And so I spent all my time with her. We did everything together, and I never left her side. So, one day she put me down for a nap. She went and had her nap. I got up after a couple of hours, went to see her, and she was just laying there on her bed, and she'd passed away. She had a heart attack. So that was really, really tough. Yeah, really hard.
And you were only 4?
I was only 4 years old. Yeah. It was hard for her because she was a very traditional woman. She came down from Hermansburg to live in Adelaide, wasn't allowed to speak her language, practice her culture. It was a very different world for her. So she had a very tough life. And I think, you've obviously seen photos of Nana, and she
was so cute.
She was very
really,
cute.
Really cute.
Yeah.
A cute
real
lady.
Western Arrernte woman with that build, but she, instead of looking 42, she looked like she was 82, and that was because of the hard life that she had. But, she was to me, she was a very gentle woman, and I really miss her.
And also another big influence and another really strong female figure in your life was Auntie Greta, and someone who you really looked up to. And she was also a really beautiful woman, and she also made headlines as well. Can you tell everyone what she made headlines for?
She made lots of headlines in her life.
Because she was she did modelling.
Well, yeah, she did a little bit of modelling, but she was mainly she got into the public service, but she was very involved in land rights and Indigenous rights at the time, and she also entered the Miss South Australia competition.
Yeah, that's right.
So she was one of the 5 finalists for South Australia. So she was always in the papers, and I've got lots of clippings of her. She was so beautiful.
And she used to do that hairstyle.
Yeah, that
where
sort
it
of
was
beehive
like,
type of hairstyle, and she just was the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen.
It was like she was out of one of those
like Vogue,
movies,
yeah,
or like
a 1920s movie, those black and white movies, and she was just such a beautiful woman. And so she was always in the papers for being in Miss South Australia. And also she got to meet Lionel Rose during that time when she was in the contest, and he just won this big world championship in Japan. He defeated Fighting Harada, which was a Japanese boxer, and he just got back to Australia, and I think he arrived in Adelaide to thousands of fans. I think it was just like not like the Beatles, but he was very, very popular.
Yeah.
And my auntie was there to meet him, so she was in the paper, and the headline was "She's a knockout."
Oh,
because she's so beautiful.
And
it's him and her, and he's signing an autograph, and so
I remember that picture, and she was like kind of looking down at him, and she had like her hand, like, because she was always very like proper, like very
she was a real lady.
Yeah,
that's what she always used to say to me. You've got to be ladylike, and teach me to walk with books on my head, and because she went to deportment classes and things like that. So she was.
And she
a
was
real
always
lady.
really well known, like amongst. I know you said when she moved to Canberra, everyone knew her, and that's how when you went to move to Canberra and live, that she introduced you to a lot of people, and that's how you met a lot of people there.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, everyone knew her and everyone loved her. She was just a very gentle woman and got along with everyone. So she was a big inspiration in my life.
What do you remember most, or like what's your most fond memory of her, or even the two of you together?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, we just had so many beautiful times together. I think, because I went to live with her and my uncle when I was maybe 7 or 8. They raised me till I was about 12 or 13, and then they got divorced, so I had to go back to mum. But she just was always like, she was like my second mum. She always cared about me. She always did everything for me. She made sure that I had the best of everything. Yeah,
and she didn't have children of her own.
She didn't have children of her own, so she always used to call me her little ray of sunshine, the light in our lives. That's so cute. Yeah, she just, everything about her, she was just, took so much care with looking after me and making sure that I had the best in life. Yeah.
And what people might not know as well is that your grandpa was a famous actor, and when he was travelling around, was it either shooting the movie or promoting the movie, did he meet the Queen?
Yes, he did. It was when he was shooting the movie Robbery Under Arms in 1956 or 57, in the 50s.
And it was it ended up being a really famous movie.
Yes.
And what character did he play?
He played the character of Warrigal. So Warrigal means wild. Like, wild one. And he was like Captain Starlight's offsider. So he was like a robber. Yeah. And the movie was called Robbery Under Arms. So they were bushrangers. Yeah. And so my grandpa, they went to film the movie at Pinewood Studios in London, which is a really famous studio where they shoot films in London. And they also shot a lot of the film in Flinders Ranges in South Australia as well. But he went across to London. He was rubbing shoulders with, Shirley Bassey, who was a famous singer, and Peter Finch was the actor. He was a huge actor. lots of big names. And he also went to Royal Ascot races, and that's where he met the Queen.
Did he actually get to meet her properly?
Yeah,
or
he
was
did. He got
just
to meet her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to meet her properly. And
so funny.
and I've got lots of press clippings of that time as well. So it's nice to look back at that and think, oh my goodness, like my grandpa, he was an orphan roaming around the bush in the Northern Territory. You know, he was, his mum and dad passed away when he was like 3 or 4 years old. Went to live in the orphanage in Darwin, but then went to work on lots of different stations throughout the Northern Territory, and became a stockman. Like, he worked really, really hard in life, and then to move to Adelaide and then get into movies and TV as well. It's just unimaginable to think that someone, an orphan, little Aboriginal boy roaming around the bush would become, what he became, like an actor.
Do you think that it would have been like a culture shock for him, going from, how he grew up to then meeting all these famous people, being in movies, and then, also for your nan being left behind, it would have also impacted her a little bit as well?
I think it was hardest for my nana because she was a very traditional woman, and so I think it was harder for her because he was off. My grandpa was like a showman. He was very flamboyant and would speak to anybody, and everyone knew my grandpa. Like in Adelaide, in South Australia, everyone knew him. Wherever we'd go, they'd be like, "Oh, there's Johnny Cadell. There's the horseman." And we'd go to the races. Everyone would know my grandpa. And so he was very outgoing, and he was very flamboyant, and so I'm sure it would have been a culture shock for him to go to London, but also he soaked it all up. He just loved it, and he loved getting dressed up. He always got dressed up. Whenever he left the house, he would always be dressed, to the nines in his, Sunday best, I guess you could say. And so, you look at those press clippings from when he was over there, he was always dressed immaculately, and he just loved meeting people and talking to people from all walks of life.
And do you think that your nan really, it was hard for her because she had to stay home and look after the kids, and when he came back, do you think that their relationship was the same?
Yeah, so Nana had to stay home and look after the kids, look after my mum and Auntie Greta and my Uncle Murray and Uncle Johnny. And she found it really hard because it was a huge culture shock for her moving from Hermannsburg to Adelaide. A traditional woman that couldn't speak her language, practice culture. Then her husband becomes famous, and then he's roaming around, gallivanting around the countryside and going jet setting, around the world, and she was left behind. And I think it was sad for her. Yeah,
it would have been sad for her, but she also would have been really proud of him as well.
I'm sure she would have been very proud of him. Yeah, no doubt.
And I feel like most of your life, you spent caring for others, and all the stories that you've told me growing up, you would take care of Nan and you take care of your sister Daz when you were just a kid yourself. What's one childhood memory that really sticks out to you and that maybe has shaped the person that you have become? Because you're a very nurturing person, and you're always taking, not strays, but you know what I mean? If people have nowhere to go for Easter or,
I'm always opening the doors and always welcoming people. Yeah. If people don't have family around during Christmas or
you're
Easter.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. I was sure, come over. You can join us.
Yeah.
And I think that's, family is very, very important to me. And I think that's one thing, even though it was tough growing up in Adelaide and, I had to look after mum and I had to look after my sister Daz. I also looked after my uncles as well, and grandpa when he would come to town. So I was always looking after people. So that sort of family, that nesting sort of thing where, I like to make the house nice. I like to, have lots of food and cook for people and just
sometimes
have people
too
around.
much food.
Yeah.
And you don't like anything going to waste
That's
either.
right, yeah. But the boys always eat everything anyway. Yeah, you can always count on them to eat, all the food. But I guess, growing up, surrounded by family, I think that's sort of the thing that sticks out in my mind, that it's always taught me to, always care for your family no matter what.
A few years ago, we lost Daz, your sister, and I remember it was a really difficult time for you losing her, and also for me and the boys and Nan as well. How do you think that loss has shaped your perception on life and grief?
Yeah, it was really tough losing Daz. She had a tough life as it was. She had a mild intellectual disability, and later in life she had schizophrenia, and then she had a 1-year battle with cancer, mouth cancer, and she had the operation. It was supposed to have been removed and gone, but it came back, and so we lost her very quickly. And it was during COVID as well, so the only person that could visit her was me. I became her main carer, and I always was her carer throughout her life anyway, but she needed me more than ever during that time. And and you will remember that I'd go into the hospital, and must have been hard for you and the boys not being able to be there. And
well, at that time I was also...
But you were also caring for Nan and Pop at that time.
I was living with Nan and Pop in Arrernte, so I was not even able to... I think...
Because there were a lot of restrictions at that time, so it was even hard for you to get back home.
I couldn't even come home.
Even come back to Sydney. It was a hard time, but I think in terms of how it's kind of shaped me or changed my life, I think it's, you can be here one day and gone the next. So I think it's really important to, make the most of life and enjoy it while you're here. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So, and it's true. Things happen, and, I don't want to live with any regrets. So I think that's why I try to make the most of all the opportunities that come my way, and you just make the most of life and enjoy it.
Yeah, and even though she had a tough life, I still feel like she always found joy in such little things.
She did, yeah.
Like having
she loved
a beer,
her music, she loved her long necks.
Having a drink, having a little beer, listening to her music, playing with her little toys, and she also was a really good artist as well, so her art and her painting, and
she was an amazing artist. I can't draw to save my life, but Dazza was an amazing artist, and she illustrated a book when she was 10 years old or 11.
Was that cat? My cat
played
yarn,
with a ball of wool.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
A ball of yarn, yeah.
And she made pottery as well, and the school sold all her artwork. They made money out of it. We didn't see a single cent.
And she didn't even get money from it herself.
No. I think she got a little bit of money from the book, but anyway, aside from that, she was an amazing artist. She loved music. She loved her, Walkmans. Every year I'd always have to buy her a new CD Walkman because she loved her CDs. Yeah. And her, loved animals. She was like the animal whisperer. She would just... all animals loved her. She just had this special way with animals. Yeah, she loved her music, her art. She loved penguins as well. She just loved penguins, and
that's why we've got the penguin tattoo.
That's why we've got the penguin tattoo. Yeah,
you and John.
Yeah, we've got our penguin tattoo in tribute.
I think we got it the day after her funeral.
Yeah,
I think it was the day after her funeral.
So,
and there was that really cute video.
We had a special moment.
Took her,
we had a special moment. We took her, the boys and I took her to Taronga Park Zoo, And I asked them, I explained the situation, my sister's terminally ill, she loves penguins. Can we, is it possible for us to go and see the penguins and for her to get up close to them? And they granted her that wish. So we got
it was really cute, the video, and she got to pat one.
Yeah, you're not even supposed to touch them. But I said, don't worry about it. Just, if you want to touch it, you touch it.
Yeah. Well, it was the one,
But the penguin came right up to her and she just gave it a little pat on the head.
And it would have made her so happy.
It did.
The one, one thing that she loved the most, penguins, and then getting to meet a penguin. And then she passed away a few months, or was it like a month later or something?
It wasn't, too much longer after that. She passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really sad, but
it teaches you the simple things in life are just, can give you the most joy. So
she didn't have, she
didn't have
a lot.
She didn't have a lot.
But she always had.
She was actually cashed up in the end. I didn't realise she had so much money in the bank, but she didn't ever spend it. She just kept it, and it was the simple things in life that she got joy out of, like eating chocolate, loved her ice cream, loved her lobster and prawns, and her music.
Is there something you learnt from me, or a moment that you felt proud to be my mum, or maybe not proud to be my mum? Maybe there's a moment that maybe we won't talk about the not proud moments.
No,
but
we won't. There's not many anyway.
No. There's a couple, but it's okay. We won't talk about it.
Look, that's a really hard question to answer because because there's been so many proud moments. I was proud the day that you were born. I was proud when you first went to, school. And then, going to high school and graduating from high school, and then seeing you, thrive in your work and what you do. And so it's really hard to pick one particular moment. And as you know, I get very emotional.
Yes, you do. You cry over
I always
everything.
cry. Yeah. I was talking to someone the other night about you and the boys, and I started getting a tear in my eye. and he's like, why are you, what's wrong? And I said, no, I get really emotional when I speak about my kids because they mean so much to me. They're my whole life. You're everything to me. So...
That's nice.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
There's not one particular moment.
There's so many that I'm always proud of you, no matter what.
Thanks, Mum. Mm-hmm. Maybe are you proud of the podcast?
I am. I am very proud of the podcast. When we walked into this studio to see, your name here in the graphics, and it's so beautiful,
it's so weird to
and to see, this has been your dream, and it's finally become reality. So
I know it doesn't feel real. It still feels like even walking in here and just seeing the logo and my name, it just still doesn't feel
it's
real.
Surreal. Yeah.
But it's exciting, and I'm glad that we could do a conversation, just the two of us, even though I know everything about you anyway, but there's some things that I don't know. Well, there's actually some questions coming up where
look out.
I'm going to ask you.
Oh, I'm getting scared
things.
now.
And you've had a really great career in the media, and I remember you really diving into work, especially after you and Dad divorced, and that was a really tough time for everyone, for each of us, for Dad, for you, for me, for the boys. I guess first of all, how did you navigate that being, having to look after us and having to navigate a public divorce as well as juggling work? How did you manage to juggle all those things?
Yeah, as you said, it was a hard time for everyone. And but I think for me it was about ensuring that you and the boys were, happy and healthy and safe, and, you and the boys were our priority, and it was, making sure that you were all okay. So I really focused on, looking after you and the boys, and focused on work. So And that really, I guess, saved me, I suppose, in a way. Like, it was, you know, sometimes like breakups can be hard. They are tough, no matter what the circumstances are. And, you know, it's how you get back, you know, it's how you lift yourself up from that. That's the important thing. You know, you can just sit around wallowing in self-pity and feel sad and sorry for yourself, or you can get on with things. And that's what I did. I chose to, you know, be positive, get on with life. I have you and the boys. I'm so lucky that I have you, the three of you.
And you had work as well.
And I had work, and everyone at work was very supportive, and my career started to take shape, or I started coming out of myself a lot more.
Because you were like a little bit, I wouldn't say shy, but you have always been a little bit more like reserved, I guess.
Yeah.
Not shy, but like reserved.
Yeah.
And I can be like that as well, especially when I'm in situations where I don't feel comfortable or I don't know many people. Even though I'm not a shy person, I probably like take after you. But then when we're around people that we know and we feel comfortable with, we're like quite loud and out there and talk a lot. But I think when you dived more into work, it brought out this side of you where you got a lot more confidence.
Yes, that's right. I think so. Yeah. I wasn't ever shy. I was just, as a teenager I was, but that was because of the environment that I was in at school. And, you know, we've already talked about what it was like at school. It just was very racist. I copped a lot of racism at school. And so I kept myself quiet and silent and, you know, just invisible, so that I didn't have to cop the racism. But, you know, as a young woman and, you know, getting into the media, and then, I guess my career took a back seat for a while your dad's career was taking off, and I, you know, was fully supportive of him and you know, supporting him in his career. And you were also
looking after, like, the boys were so little as well, so you were just being a mum as well as,
trying to have a career as well. And, I guess after our divorce, I sort of, threw myself more into work, and my career started to take off more, and I was producing and reporting at that time, but then I started to host programs as well. I hosted ICAM, and then, I created Living Black in 2003, and been hosting that and executive producing that. It's still going 23 years later. So,
And do you think that it's a big responsibility having other young journalists look up to you, especially, you know, like at work, because we work together as well? A lot of the younger journalists and the younger ones in the team, they do look up to you because they've watched you when they were little, and now they get to work with you, and you're kind of like a mentor as well to them. Do you think that that's a lot of responsibility to carry, or you like it?
I'm happy for that. I don't feel like it's a huge weight on my shoulders or a huge responsibility. It's like I have a responsibility to our community and our people to make sure that they have a voice. That's a huge responsibility, but I'm happy to, you know, see the young ones coming through and to support them and mentor them and give them any guidance, you know, that if they want to know anything or ask me questions, I'm always there. And I think, like I have helped to, blaze a trail for other people to come through, because when I got into the media, there were very few First Nations journalists around. Your dad and I were, one of the first. Well, there was John Newfong, of course, who was our very first print journalist, Indigenous journalist, and there's a Kennedy Award named after him.
Oh yeah,
the John Newfong Award. So we always pay tribute to him and what he did to create a pathway for all of us to come through. But it's taken a long time, and now we have so many more journalists coming through and people to working right across the media industry, and it's really great to see, and I'm glad that I've been a part of that.
Yeah, I know that even us working together, seeing all the other younger ones looking up to you, or they're like, oh, your mum's so cool, or she's so, I looked up to her since I was little, so it's nice, and I'm like really proud of you for everything that you've achieved, and, raising us, like me, John and Dylan, and then working and making a really good career for yourself has really inspired me to what I'm doing now, which is really cute, and I love you, Mum.
Thank you. That's
but
very sweet.
Now I'm going to ask you some other questions about dating. Okay, so now we're going to talk about dating. So we're just going to switch topics altogether.
I'm getting scared now.
Actually, that's so funny, because my question is, what scares you the most when it comes to dating?
I guess, it can be really nerve-wracking. As you know, I've been dating recently, so it can be nerve-wracking when you sort of don't know the person very well. You want to go on the date, but it's like, what am I going to say? What if they don't like me? Or what if we don't get along? Or, what are we going to talk about? So all
First dates are always so uncomfortable, though. And you never know what you're going to order. You don't know what the right thing is to order, because
you don't want to eat like spaghetti or something.
No,
that's
you're not
going to
be slurping up
and,
a big spaghetti and then you get like sauce on yourself, or you don't want to have something with basil or herbs to like stuck in your teeth.
No.
You don't want to have garlic bread, because then your breath's going to smell.
Yeah.
So and then if you get a big pizza, like
there's cheese sort of coming out.
I don't know what. I think the easiest thing is fish and salad and some chips. I just find them so uncomfortable.
There's so many things to think about when you're going on a date, especially that first one, because it can be very nerve-wracking. Just have a glass of wine and to take the edge off, and
I have a couple of glasses of wine to take the edge off. But then you can't have too many drinks.
No, because you don't want to be
embarrassing yourself.
No.
So the things that scare you about dating is more like the first date. And then
I
after
think
that,
is the scariest. Because then if you like that person and they like you and you get along, then there'll be a second date, and then that'll be easier.
Yeah, because you already know them. You have things to talk about.
That's right.
Also, on a first date, who do you think has to pay?
The man.
And what about the second date?
The man.
What about the third date?
I might go halves.
I think if they're inviting you out on the date, then they should obviously pay.
Yeah.
But I also think even like once you start, like if you start dating them regularly, then it's like you either take it in turns or
I'm happy
split
to do that.
Yeah.
And I have done that in the past. Yeah. So I don't mind sort of paying my way as well.
Yeah. And what do you think that you're looking for love right now? And would you ever get married again?
Look, I'm dating at the moment, so it's nice to just meet different people, I think, and just go on some nice dates, meet nice people, and see who's out there, and you never know what's going to happen. Like, I can't predict what the future's going to bring. About marrying again, I always said I wouldn't ever marry again, but you can never say never. So, it just depends.
You only live once. So
that's right, yeah.
If you meet someone who's worth marrying.
That's right, yeah. Then
why not?
Why not? Yeah.
And speaking of dating, if you got asked to be the Golden Bachelorette, would you do it? Not being on the Golden Bachelor, because I'm like, I know you are competing against all these other people. I feel like you should be the person who's being pursued, because I feel like that's how it should work. Obviously on that show, that's how it works. But if you had the opportunity to be in the position where they're vying for your attention, would you consider it?
Maybe. This has been a topic of conversation with friends and family too. Yes. I've spoken to you about this, and the boys. So I think, I wouldn't say no. Like, I'd consider it. Yeah.
Well,
so bring it on.
If they're out bring it on. To finish, what's something that you want people to know about resilience and pushing through adversity?
as you know, I'm a very resilient person, and I think that sort of, helps me to get through the toughest of situations, because I've, had a lot of situations that I've had to get through. And I think it's about learning lessons from life. You learn lots of valuable lessons along the way, and you take something from every experience that you've been through, no matter what it is. So it's just, my motto is never ever give up. So, and that's what I've carried with me through, my adult life, I guess. Never ever give up. There's been situations where I might have been, nervous or frightened to do something, but then I'll say, you can do it. You can do whatever you want to do in life, and never give up on your dreams. And, I'll go out and do, it might be hosting Insight or something like that, and
something that's like something that's scary.
Yeah. Especially the first time I did that, it was a bit daunting. But I thought, no, I can do this. I can do it, and I did it, and I've done it like 4 or 5 years in a row now. And I'm like, see, you can do these things. Don't doubt yourself. Back yourself. So that's what I say. Like, never ever give up. Always take every opportunity that comes in front of you, grab it with both, hands, and back yourself.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the fun part.
More questions?
No. These are just like quick fire questions. So basically you have to just say, and I know what you're like, don't take time to think about it, just whatever pops into your head. I'm
not very good at these things because I'm a thinker. I'm a deep thinker, and I like to think about stuff.
You don't have time to think. It's just literally like, okay, so this is easy. Favourite comfort food?
Chocolate.
One show that you could binge watch forever?
Gosh.
Mum. Time's ticking.
Big Brother.
Who would play you in a movie?
You.
What? I thought you were going to say like Samantha Jade or something, because she's got your build. But yeah, I'd need to wear a wig and what's your go-to dish to cook?
Fish.
I knew you were going to say that. Specifically,
coconut fish.
No, I meant specifically you would cook the fish with the...
Oh, yes, the Moroccan, spicy Moroccan fish. Yeah, that's our family favourite.
It is. If you could have lunch with any person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oprah.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Lenny Kravitz.
I knew you were going to say that. And then the last one is, what is your ideal date night?
It's like a romantic dinner with wine and nice music and good company.
And cheese and crackers and olives.
Cheese and crackers and olives.
It's the same as wine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mum, for coming on Access Granted. And it was really nice for us to just sit down and have a little chat and a talk and a laugh and, talk about some things that, were a little bit emotional, but I'm surprised that you didn't cry. So,
well, thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on the podcast. And
thanks, Mum.
I'm so proud of you. Love you.
Thanks, Mum. Love you. And that's your Access for today. Another yarn shared, another story unlocked. I'm Lowanna Grant, and this is Access Granted. Access Granted would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are recording today, and the lands that you're tuning in from. I pay my respects to all elders, past and present, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening. I honour our stories, cultures, and knowledge systems that have existed here for over 65,000 years and continue to guide us today. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land.